There is an incredibly appealing idea circulating right now that you can fill your home with beautiful greenery without spending a single dollar, simply by foraging wild cuttings from nature. The process seems straightforward enough. You find a wild plant thriving near an alley and snip a stem to propagate at home. But extracting a plant from its native ecosystem and forcing it to survive in your living room requires an active investment. You might not pay with cash, but you are still paying. You are dealing with the cultivation trade-off. You bypass the retail price by directly taking on the burden of propagation patience, environmental matching, and failure risk. This comparison matrix breaks down the exact inputs and outputs of sourcing your plants. When buying from a nursery, the financial cost is high, but the nursery has already spent the months required to grow the plant. You get immediate aesthetic impact, instant maturity, and very low initial effort. With a nature-foraged cutting, the financial cost drops to zero. However, the impact is delayed, the time to maturity is long, and the required cultivation effort spikes. Because free plants heavily tax your time and effort, your success comes down to evaluating the specific return on investment of the wild species you choose to cut. To figure out where you should actually spend your effort, we can evaluate 10 specific plants that are widely available in the wild. This quadrant chart maps these species out. We are measuring their natural hardiness and aesthetic yield against the propagation effort they demand from you. The top left quadrant is our lazy gardening tier. These are plants that offer highly reliable growth for the absolute minimum human input. The money plant, or pothos, sits right at the top. It survives on minimal care and is so hardy you will often see it growing directly out of stone cracks in the wild. The snake plant sits right next to it, offering similar zero-maintenance wild growth and incredibly easy rooting. You can easily spot the spider plant on an afternoon walk. Its downward-flowing clusters can simply be plucked and rooted at home with almost zero friction. Wild aloe vera is abundant near garden beds. The only input it needs is cleanly snipping a single leaf with the root attached. Finally, the philodendron thrives in this tier, growing robustly without requiring complex soil mixing or strict watering schedules. All 5 of these plants share the exact same input constraints. They ask for a basic cutting and standard indoor conditions, nothing more. In return, they deliver rapid, robust indoor greenery that is highly resistant to neglect. While this tier is incredibly reliable for beginners, you trade ease of growth for variety. You won't find unique rarity or complex floral blooms here. Moving beyond basic green cuttings, we encounter plants where required effort isn't active gardening. It is entirely about matching the plant's native microclimate. Here in the middle area of this chart, we find the environment-dependent tier. The creeping fig can be propagated in just water without soil, but it demands high ambient humidity to actually thrive. Boston ferns share this specific need. Without high moisture conditions, they will never achieve their signature thick, bushy appearance. The trade-off in this tier is highly specific. Your active propagation effort is low, but the environmental friction is extremely high. If you match those humid conditions, the aesthetic reward is massive. You get lush coverage that creeps perfectly across walls, house gates, or hanging planters. But if you take a high moisture cutting and place it in a dry, climate-controlled room, it will dry out and drop its leaves almost immediately. Attempting to force these species to adapt to a low-moisture living space is a direct path to rapid failure and wasted foraging effort. Our final group of wild plants offers high-end floral aesthetics, but they demand the absolute highest level of active participation and patience from the grower. Returning to the chart, the top right quadrant represents the strategic investment tier. Wild succulents like jade are difficult to find, and once secured, you must mix specialized, rich soil for real growth. Hibiscus trees offer beautiful blooms, but securing a viable plant requires precise stem plucking. Marigolds are found near garden beds, but you must carefully extract the full stem to keep them alive. You are trading zero financial cost for a heavy labor input. You have to source complex soil mixtures, perform careful pruning, and wait significantly longer for the plant to mature. The trade-off is that your patience yields a much higher aesthetic reward, like a vibrant, blooming red flower breaking through lush green foliage. Because of the required soil mixing and wait times, this tier is strictly for the patient aesthetic seeker. If you want guaranteed greenery with zero fuss, you will likely abandon these cuttings before they mature. With the required effort mapped out, we can align these plants directly to your specific living situation. This checklist translates those tiers into a practical decision. If you are a lazy optimizer wanting guaranteed results without specialized soil, your target is the lazy tier. Stick to pothos, snake plants, and spider plants for zero-friction success. If you are a climate matcher who naturally lives in a high moisture or high humidity area, focus on the environment tier. Forage for creeping figs and ferns to leverage your natural surroundings. Finally, if you are a patient aesthetic seeker willing to put the hours into pruning and custom soil mixtures, you can tackle the strategic tier. Look for jade, hibiscus, and marigolds to achieve a high-end visual impact. Sourcing plants from nature bypasses the nursery checkout line, but the plants are never truly free. Your home garden will only thrive when matching the correct wild species to the exact currency of time and effort you are willing to spend.